Good afternoon, this is Jack from the AutoChart.net, and this is an intraday video for the afternoon of Tuesday the 16th of January. Our disclaimer, we do this for educational purposes only. We're here to share our technical analysis with you. We hope you can take some of what we're doing and learn from it, transfer it to your own charts. We're not here to issue trading signals. Right, what's happened today? Well, on the pre-market video I was talking about the possible 60-minute sell signal that's brewing, and that's now currently making target, and I was talking about if this was a rising wedge, then the next target would be within the wedge would be rising wedge support, which is, well, here. We're testing it right now. So what happens now? Well, this is an inflection point. We've made the sell signal target. We could reverse back up here towards rising wedge resistance. Alternatively, we could break down here, which puts us in a topping process, in which case, depending on the size of the high, the obvious high to form would be some kind of retest of the high and a double top. Something like 2/3 of all SPX tops are made with double tops. So the other option would be some kind of a head and shoulder pattern, and I didn't really have a decent head and shoulder neckline until we get down here. We could obviously go down there, but I think we're not really expecting the full sequence to have completed yet. We're really looking for one more high, unless we see some very strong evidence to the contrary, which we haven't seen yet. Nonetheless, this is an encouraging start for the reversal that we've been looking for. Let's have a look at NQ. NQ, we got no sell signal, which was slightly annoying, but beautiful reversal. I was saying this morning that if we had a touch of this trend line, then this was a likely rising wedge that was overthrowing bearishly. Obviously, it reached the trend line and it went straight through it. So this is a rising wedge. It has broken down, and the minimum target should be at 38.2 at 66.7225. Again, we may well need a retest of the high. At the very least, we would normally get some kind of retest of broken wedge support, which is currently in the 6780 area and rising. So, going to be watching out for that. TF. We have the 60-minute sell signals pretty much made target now, and we've got a pretty nice looking double top. The one I was talking about this morning only went a little higher. We almost made it to my 1610 target, not quite, but pretty close. That must have been, what, 1608. So, and we've got a nice double top here, and it is breaking down. Now, if this sustains the break, then this has got a target down in the 1572 area. If it doesn't sustain the break, then it's going to have a target back at a retest this high at 1608. Pretty much it's one or the other. So watching what happens here with considerable interest. We've obviously got possible support here. We've got it on ES, NQ, harder to say, but I'm watching for possible support in this area here, and we'll see whether we get it. So ES is not looking promising here for the bulls, because now we are starting to break rising wedge support. This is a sign that we're at the minimum in a short-term topping process. So we'll see. All right, great. Let's have a look at DX. Now, DX, very tight falling channel, broken up, flag, breaking down into a likely retest of this low. How likely is that to be the second low of a double bottom? I think pretty likely. I'd be going 65%, 70%. On this one. I think we're already on a 60-minute buy signal. We're expecting the turn, and we'd be looking for a bottoming pattern, and there are no obvious high chest necklines. So, I mean, a retest of the low is the obvious way to go. Chances are it'll find support there and turn back up. CL, we've got... I was talking this morning about the nice reversal at the high there, and I was talking about the key support here at the weekly pivot and rising support. Rising support has been broken. Weekly pivot is being tested right now. We shall see how those go. I think in the event that we get below weekly pivot and convert it, then we've got double top support at 6307, and if we convert that, then we are looking at a double top target in the 62 area. Sorry, 61.2 area. I don't think this is unconnected with a turn in DX. There's been a fair amount of inverse correlation. This ran away to the upside by a couple of bucks. DX has equally run away to the downside by a buck. I don't think those two were unconnected. So I think we're seeing CL in the turning process here, and I think we're seeing DX in it too. DX, therefore, particularly for gold and CL, needs to actually make that a double bottom and turn. Right, NG, the 60-minute sell signal made target. We didn't quite reach the obvious rising support trend line. This looks like some kind of bull flag forming. and at the moment that's what my working assumption is that's exactly what it is. So that minimum bull flag target would be a retest of this high. I've got a major resistance trend line on the bigger picture being tested there. That may well hold, so that may well be the second high of a double top. In which case, we'd be looking at a move down to this rising support trend line here, or possibly a little lower. We'll see how that goes. I'm liking a topping pattern forming here, and I think that this bull flag is part of that pattern forming. Right, GC. GC, we had a bit of a breakdown overnight. We're now retesting the high. That should be the second high of a double top, really. A couple of caveats, though. One, the bigger picture bull flag target is at 1362. That is obviously not that far above. Now, one thing I was saying all the way up was, well, once we got to about 1290, was the closer we got to that target, then the less likely it was we were going to see a retracement on the way. Now, I think this is fairly well inversely correlated with the US dollar, and the US dollar looks as though it's going to turn. Therefore, we should see the turn on gold too. But I'd be looking for it to, I think the turn here is less high probability than the one we're looking at on CL. So we'll see. ZB. Right, ZB, I posted on the Twitter feed this morning a potential topping setup, and that has partially delivered. I'll show you what I was looking at on TNX. And on TNX, I'm looking at this overall perfect bull flag channel. So basically, we had the initial bull flag channel that broke up and has made a slight marginal lower high, and has now expanded into this larger bull flag channel. Now, we've retraced about 50% of this. We need to make a bottoming pattern, and while there's a promising looking head and shoulders which could possibly still deliver on ZB, I think what we're looking at here is probably a retest of the low, or a retest of the high on ZB. So I think I'm looking for a double top here. Could it extend higher from there? Yes, it could, but probably not a lot higher without breaking that very nice channel on TNX. So my lean would be that we're not going to break that channel, that we're not going to go significantly higher than this level here. If we do go significantly higher, do the upside targets I was talking about this morning still apply? They do. Possible bear flag resistance on ZB is at the November monthly pivot area, which is 151.07, and I've got declining resistance currently at about the 150 to 119 area, and on a breakover, significant break over the current high, we could open up those targets. So we shall see. But as it is, we've got very, very strong support in the 150, 10 to 12 area, and I'm leaning towards that being the support level on a topping pattern of some kind. We shall see. The buy signal's now reached target. I'm looking for a potential topping pattern here. It doesn't appear that it's going to be the head and shoulder pattern. So if that's the case, then we're likely to retest the overnight high. Okay, let's have a look at HG. HG, it was a bull flag channel, broke up slightly, made a lower high, and then reversed hard and touched the bull channel trend line. Now that isn't something that tends to happen when you've left the pattern. It's something that happens when the pattern is still evolving. So I've redrawn this as a bull flag megaphone, which is what I think it is. The obvious next target might need a retest this low to set up a short-term double bottom, but the obvious next target is the flag resistance and very possibly a break up there into a retest of this high. We'll see how that goes. But I think this is pretty clearly now a megaphone, in which case our next target within the megaphone, unless the megaphone is going to break down, is megaphone resistance in the 3.2875 area. Right, coffee. Coffee has extended lower. I was talking about this morning, and I was talking about the possibility that we're going to need to go and retest this low here. And the closer we get to it, the more likely it is that that's going to happen. SB, I was talking about the same, except here it's actually retested that low now. We've got no positive divergence. I'm not seeing anything which is confidently making me think this might actually turn up soon. So I would be wary on the long side. I'll be redrawing the current resistance trend line here, I think. Yeah, this was a head and shoulders in the end, wasn't it? I'm going to redraw this pattern from here. This is the resistance trend line. So until we get over that resistance trend line, currently in about the 0.1395 area, I don't think there's anything much happening on the long side. All right, CC. CC is still forming, is still consolidating in what may be the tail end of forming oh, welcome, Scott. This IHS, this IHS still looks pretty good. Either it breaks up, in which case we're looking at a target in the, I think, the 2090 area. Yeah, I think it is. Or it breaks down, in which case we're looking at a retest this low. Again, there's no real middle ground on this, except that obviously we can just continue wiggling sideways for a couple of days, which is what we've been doing already. Obviously, a decision needs to be made. It's likely to be one or the other. ZW. ZW is making progress towards the retest of the low. We have not seen that full retest yet. We have got a weak 60-minute buy signal, which is just fixed now. Possible low here, but I'm really leaning towards the full retest of this low here, and I've got that at 410.5. We have not reached it yet. We got pretty close, but no cigar as yet. Chances are it needs a full retest. GBPUSD. Right here, I think we might be topping out short term. I think some kind of a bull flag is forming now. When we reach the retest of this high, then it has to make a decision as to whether it goes up or whether it's the second high of a double top. As it is, the 60-minute sell signal almost reached the possible NMS target. I'm not sure there's going to be. I wouldn't base another leg down looking on this RSI pattern. So I'm keeping an open mind in terms of direction. But if it follows what's likely to happen on the dollar, then we probably are going to see another leg down. Right, EURUSD. Heading for the high retest just as DX is heading for the low retest. I'm expecting to see a reversal there. Now here, this rising wedge has got a target at the 30 hour on RSI. These are actually pretty good at making target. I'm expecting this to be the second high of a double top, or possibly the head on a head and shoulders when we get there. But we should now be in a topping process for reversal. USDJPY. USDJPY has gone to falling wedge resistance and is probably on the way back to falling wedge support. We might just get a retest of the low and then break up with a second low double bottom. But I'm not seeing anything to suggest that we're not going to head back. Look at that perfect test of wedge resistance where I put it. So there's no reason to think actually that it isn't heading back towards wedge support, and I've got that currently in the 110 area, or very slightly above it. 110.05 possibly, but nice wedge. It's great. Is going to deliver a nice long trade when it's cooked. No current indication that it's cooked, apart from the 60-minute buy signal. But as that fixed here, I'm taking that with a pinch of salt at this stage. I think we need a break of this trend line, really. And I've got that in the 110.80 area. All right, USD CAD. Now, on the bigger picture, I've still got an open target, double top target in the 1.2325 area. I was talking about this being a short-term bear flag this morning, and it was a short-term bear flag, and it's gone down, it's retested the low, and we have a possible weak 60-minute buy signal brewing. I don't particularly rate the quality of the pattern. It could be that we're going to go back and test weekly pivot, but there's no strong indication we're going to. The obvious next target, which should be reached sometime soon, is this target here, retest this low, and then 1.2325, which is the main double top target. We shall see. This looks like a consolidation on the way to that target. Possible upside risk at the weekly pivot. Australian dollar. Right, the Australian dollar has not yet made the obvious trendline resistance. We're on a 60-minute sell signal. Could be topping out here. If not, I've got the obvious trendline resistance slightly north of 80. NZUSD. NZUSD is at the obvious trendline resistance. It's already hit it. I think we may well be topping out here. I'm wondering about a retest of the high. Really, there's quite a lot of high retests coming this afternoon, and this is another one. All right, great. In that case, I think that's a wrap. I will stop the recording, and I'll take a couple of questions. Stopping the recording.